Hello, my name is Veronica Preciado, and this is my presentation on IDA and its application in my teaching experiences. So to begin, what is IDA? The Individuals with Disabilities Education Act is a law that makes available a free, appropriate education to eligible children with disabilities throughout the nation and ensures special education and related services to those children. The IDE has 6 fundamental principles, which are outlined below. Principle 1 being free, appropriate public education, also known as FAPE. Principle 2, appropriate evaluation. Principle 3, individualized education program, also known as the IEP. Principle 4, least restrictive environment, LRE. Principle 5, parent and student participation in decision making. And Principle 6, procedural safeguards. So what does that look like? For the first principle, free appropriate public education, also known as FAPE, there are services designed for a student's unique needs and designed to help the student succeed in school. It must meet the standards established by the state and Department of Education and provided according to a written individualized education program, also known as the IEP. These services are provided at public expense under public supervision. Principle 2 is appropriate evaluation. The IDE requires that a student must receive an evaluation before providing a special education services to determine whether the student qualifies as a child with a disability according to the IDA definition, and if so, to determine the educational needs of the student. To do this evaluation, parent must give permission for evaluation and for services, and the student must be evaluated in all areas of the suspected disability. Principle number 3 is Individualized Education Program. An IEP is a written statement for each child with a disability that is developed, reviewed, and revised at least once a year by a team, including educators, parents, and the student, and whoever else appropriate that has knowledge or expertise needing the development of the student's special education program. The IEP must contain measurable goals written to where we want the student's skills to be within a year, and it must be designed to offer meaningful progress in the general education curriculum and functional performance. Principle 4 is Least Restrictive Environment, LRE. The IDA requires that to maximum extent appropriate children with disabilities, including children in public or private institutions, are educated with children who are not disabled. So this means that any placement outside the general education classroom must be justified by the child's individual disability-related needs, and it must have meaningful access to same age peers without disabilities when appropriate. Principle 5 is parent and student participation in the decision making. So the IDA is very specific about what schools must do to ensure that parents have the opportunity to be active participants in each step of the special education process. So parents and sometimes students, when appropriate, must be meaningfully involved in the development, review, and revision of the IEP, educational placement decisions, determining what data needs to be collected during evaluation, and reviewing evaluated data. And Principle 6, Procedural Safeguards, includes important procedural safeguards to ensure that the rights of children with disabilities and their parents are protected and that they have access to the information needed to effectively participate in the process.
Knowing and understanding the IDEA and what it entails is really important for my career and success as a fair, well-rounded, and knowledgeable teacher. My experiences in teaching include being a substitute teacher for grades pre-K through 8th and an instructional aide in a special day class. In these experiences, I have learned and seen a lot of different techniques and strategies used to best support students and their needs based on their educational goals. This is the first place I also saw different levels of tech using to support these students. Little did I know at the time that in order for students to have had these goals, there was IEP meetings, and with that, it was the IDEA involvement as well. These are some low-tech assistive technology that I have seen in classrooms to support students. Picture schedules, often made of laminated cardstock, is a great way to inform students of their daily tasks and establishing routine, while at the same time helping students deal with any unresolved anxieties. Token reward systems are also a very good tool. They are also made of laminated cardstock, and they help reinforce positive behaviors with rewards. I saw this used a lot as an aid, and it made it really helpful to redirect behaviors and boost morale. Another one of my favorite tools were picture icons and communication books. Also made of cardstock, these pictures help students with limited to no speech learn words and how to use them in an effective way to communicate their needs and wants. And lastly, pencil grippers were also a cool way to help students better develop and practice their fine motor skills. Lastly, to end this, I wanted to review this short quote. Education is the key to success in life, and teachers make a lasting impact in the lives of their students. I think it is my due diligence to be knowledgeable in all the ways that I can help my students succeed and meet their goals. Providing accessible and meaningful education is just the surface. Being aware and continuously fighting for our students to receive the best quality education they are entitled to is important. Thanks for listening to my presentation.